Hello, thank you for joining me as I craft. Today, I've decided to try making myself a collage background sheet that I will scan and save to use over and over. But before I do this, which I am quite anxious to do, I've decided that I have to give something a try. I don't know if you will remember that I found this huge plastic lacy tablecloth in on one of my mall dives. Let's have it right side up. Not that it makes that much difference, but as you can see, it is quite pretty. And so I thought, listen, I'm going to use the other side of this to give this a try. So I have Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist in Antique Brown and Winter Copper. And I have my handy dandy spray box. And yes, it's rather big. If it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. I asked my husband for a spray box, and this is what I got. And so, let's find out what happens. You're in on the ground floor of my experiment. I have 2 BBs in each of these bottles. Get that bottom turned up, and here we go. And let's not waste this glimmer mist. This is a piece of copy paper. Oh my. Well, let's see what we have now. Well, as I live and breathe, that tickles me. Yes, it does. I think that I'm going to use a couple of other colors, and I will be getting back as soon as I have accomplished that. So, oops. There. So I'm going to use the other side for my first try at collage paper, but okay. This, by the way, is mixed media paper weight. Okay, now I will be back and I will share my results. Well, I'm back for some show and tell. I used Spring Sunset, which is a pinkish color, Bluebell, and Spring Sun on these papers. The learning here was that I probably would have needed to let the tablecloth dry a little bit more because the colors mixed a little bit, not unpleasantly. This is the pink one, but the cleanup paper mixed the blue and the pink together, and of course I have an interesting shade of mauve there. But so that's the pink combo. This is the blue, and I used yellow before it, so we have a little tiny bit of green mixed in, but I'm quite happy with that. And the cleanup on this one was quite nice. The blue is quite clear except for those few spots. So learning by doing, that's what happens when we tackle our art. And the yellow one is quite pretty, and there is just the tiniest residue of distressing from the browns that I used on the original paper. And the cleanup, I think I waited a little bit too long, so it had slightly dried, and this is what I have. However, all of which I will enjoy playing with. So now let's get back to this one and start to play. I picked some papers, as you can see, and I thought I would start the first layer, as always, with some background. I also got out my set of decaling rulers that I got at a tear guide. This deckled edge is quite nice. I need to practice with these, so another practice experience today. I've pulled out these papers, some Tim Holtz, some printed papers, some music, some papers that were left over from other projects that I've been working on, some of my oldie but goodie music paper, a piece of French paper that I used when I was starting out doing my using my new printer, and it made it a lot larger than the piece that was in, but that's okay because it's quite nice. And this is my experience with Carol's idea of coffee dyed paper. That's the most beautiful shade of Ashes of Roses, and if you are my age, you understand that color, Ashes of Roses, that this paper turned out to be. So that's going to go a little bit. And a piece of paper from that book that I showed you on my vlog of the Wichita Sunday Eagle for November 29th, 1942. And I thought I could use that on this one also. This book is the entire beginning through the end of the Wichita Sunday Eagle, and I found things that I really want to read about. I mean, the Lindbergh babies, kidnapping, World War II. It's incredible what is in this paper. I could stop and read and not get on with my business. So let's start to use some of this paper. Paper that it is printed on is really quite lovely. Whoa, try this, Carol. That's why it's here. Let's see what happens. Ooh, quite a nice edge. Yes. I'm going to try that other one too. So, I think I'll do a bit of that and a bit of this and maybe some of that. And let's use them in order that they fall into my hand. Let's try this craziness and and see what happens. Well, my, not so bad. When I get used to it, and I have noticed that you do better when you're pulling on the larger side here. So let's see what happens if we do it this way. Well, it kind of sounds like the end of the world, but wow, that's a nice edge. Tuesday morning on sale. I think there were a few rulers. Isn't that nice? Yes, okay. What's next? I believe some music paper. And I don't want to waste this paper because it's really quite lovely. So that will go there. This will go over here. And I had this bit left over from a project I was just working on. So let's have some of that. I'm going to be saving that one. And oops, I hear my husband speaking and just said you're early, so let me go check and see if my world is about to come to an end. Well, that was a fine example of the best laid plans. Sometimes life just gets in the way. But here I am back. And before I explain what I did to occupy my time, I wanted to share these three rulers. You already saw that one in action. And then there is this one. And this one. We know what this one looks like, and I will have to get to those when I'm able, but okay. First layer that went down were all the little bits that I had on there, and a few more that I retore from the same papers. Next came some of this Tim Holtz collage paper, botanical, and that's, you see that here and there. And then I decided that I needed some birdies, so I used these birdies from an old book that I removed the color pages from. So those are the birdies that you see here and here. And I used some of the greenery from these pages. And there I stand now. I'm feeling as though I'm going to add a little bit of stamping to this with StazOn so that I can go to the next step. And I believe for this one, I'm going to use the fuchsia pink StazOn, and what do I want there? Let me look. I'll be right back. Well, I've decided I'm going to use these background stamps just to sneak in a little bit of color here and there. this is just what the doctor ordered. And here. Maybe just a little bit right there. And then I think some of my very favorite favorites. It's been so long since I've used stamps, and I'm so happy to be doing that with junk journaling. It's kind of feels like home week here. All right, now just a bit of color. And now the next step, I want to, after I've done all this, I want to push back. And my preferred method of pushing back is to use golden zinc white. It is not as heavy as gesso, which is, I think, why I like it so much. And I use a small brayer. So let's just see what we can do, because this is much more transparent than gesso. As you can see, it does take some of the color off without putting down too much of its own. See the difference in the two sides? It's been many years since I've found out how to do this, and I don't remember who exactly it was that I saw do this on YouTube, but it's something that has stuck with me, because sometimes less is more, and layers can be built up on top of each other. See if we need any more. Yes, I'm still thinking. More of this needs to go back. I want to see some zinc white over most of the bits of the under collage. I do believe that I'm quite satisfied with this now. And that is the zinc white is a veil of color white. I'm going to let this dry while I go and clean up this brayer. And I'm thinking now that I'm going to do some collaging using my own painty papers from way back. These were gel prints that I've been saving, and today is the day to stop saving. So, again, I'm going to clean up and come back. I've decided to finally try using some of these stick-ons from Dollar Tree. Sometimes they have such lovely ones hanging over in that home section, and you receive huge pieces for $1, and they can be cut apart just like this and used in situations that call for them. And I was just thinking that maybe this might be the thing that absolutely does call for it. Nope, don't like that placement. No, no, no. No, no, no. Yes, yes. Oh, yes. And they are super sticky because I believe they're meant to be used on walls. In fact, you have to be careful not to get stuck to it, because you could become a wall also. Now, okay, that plays up the green here. I think this is too strong. I think I'm not liking that. And it's according to the weight of what's happening here. I think the weight on this one is too heavy also. So that one goes there. And this one will go here. Finally getting to use it. I think I made this paper at least 3 years ago. Well, this making bits for scanning, and I'm finally going to learn how to do that. And yes, I'm thinking that this is going to be distressed around the outside. I'm thinking it needs to be framed. I like this piece. I must like it because I don't seem to be able to let go of it. This is too strong also. Too strong. Be here and here. Yes. Okay, now I'm back to gluing on these collage bits. It really never ceases to amaze me how using vintage photo around the edge of some pieces just make magic. I think I'm also going to scan. Oh, I love that word. I'm finally going to force myself to learn to do it. I'm going to scan this too. And the difference that vintage photo frame makes is really quite something. And I do believe when I was rudely interrupted today, I was about to tell you that I have so much of that lace, plastic lace tablecloth. I mean, it's one of those humongous ones, 72 inches long and God knows how wide, and so I certainly will be sharing chunks of it. Now, I do hope that you have enjoyed watching my first experiment. I will certainly be trying to do more of it. I've learned a lot today about layering and what is necessary to make the entire piece work, because I probably will be ripping this apart, and I am trying to see it in my mind's eye. I'm trying to visualize it as bits that are open to being turned into to being ripped, or even turned into journal spots or tags. And I think, probably more by accident than planned, that this I think will lend itself to my my fun. If you have enjoyed today, and I know that I was did a lot of stopping and starting, because to be honest, I was really set to sit down and play right through on this, but and the doorbell and the door rang, just kind of set me off a little bit, and I apologize for that. I'll try not to let anything like that happen again. But if you have enjoyed the bits and bobs here that I have added to this piece of mixed media paper, and my little playtime with the plastic tablecloth, I would appreciate your giving me a thumbs up, leaving a comment, and I would certainly appreciate your subscribing to my channel. I'll be back soonest with some more playtime, and I'm looking forward to doing this, because I see now why it's being done. It's wonderful to know that I can reuse this piece. So, see you soon. Bye now.